Welcome back to Tool World. This is Mr. Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
How's it going there, the Mr. Jew?
Well, we actually have a new program that we've been doing for quite a bit now.
Obviously, this is our Tool World podcast, and so it's just basically talking about ideas. And so we decided to branch it out a little bit more. So we have created a platform that will show the techniques and the patterns and those kind of things. So it's more exclusive content that you can obtain, and we call it Tool World Plus.
Yeah, so if you want to get more information, you can go to our website, jewstkd.com, and in the top right there is something that says Tool World Plus. It's going to give you all the more information as well as a login once you become a subscriber.
Right.
So go ahead and check it out, and let's get right into that podcast.
Sounds great.
So today I thought we'd talk about the 3 different ways of teaching.
What do you mean by that? Is there different ways of teaching? Well, no. I get what you're saying, right? So in General Che's encyclopedia, he talks about the 3 different types of ways of teaching, right? When you're young, teach with your body. When you're old, teach with your mind. And when you die, teach with your legacy.
So why don't we start at the beginning, teaching with your body, and how did that influence your style of teaching compared to how it is done now?
Well, obviously, when you're younger, you can do some amazing things. And as we get older, you never think you're going to get older, but you're not able to do certain things. Like I'm not able to do any of the flying kicks anymore because I have 2 hip replacement. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I can do this. But then my body says, no, you can't do this. It just happens. It's true. It does happen. So I do think that as an instructor, when you're capable of showing people what the techniques look like, and why not do that, right? As opposed to being just a quarterback instructor sitting instructing. I still like to do as much as I can. I still like to participate and do a lot of the techniques, whatever I'm capable of doing. I consider myself kind of more of a physical type of an instructor. Anyone can do it. So whether you're an introvert, extrovert, if you just perform it and you say, follow me, yeah, you can do that. That doesn't necessarily make you a great instructor, or it doesn't mean that you're going to get people to join your studio or whatever, right? But it definitely is going to help, right? And so if you're going to try to teach it, and you're going to try to teach not the physical part, but try to explain the techniques, which you also need to do, that's going to just come down to who you are as a person, how charismatic you are, how you lay out the material, right? So that's going to be the difference.
I think that leads us into the next one, which is teaching with your mind. So what would that, we kind of touched upon that a little bit briefly, but what would that really mean? Well,
it's your knowledge, right? So, you could have like a world champion, and he can be doing the class, he's up there leading it. It's okay, follow me, do this and that, right? But does he really know the technical details? He might, because obviously he probably spent a lot of time trying to be a world champion, trying to perfect a certain techniques, and how's it done this way or that way. And so he's got to be able to explain that. I think that's where the mind aspect, or the knowledge, it's how to explain how you do certain techniques. Because sometimes just showing people, they don't really understand that either. Talk about, like for instance, sine wave. You can go, well, this is sine wave, down, up, down. But there's a little bit more to it than that, right? And you have to be able to explain that. And so generally those are instructors that know a little bit more about that, probably have more experience, probably been around a while.
I noticed that a lot myself, especially as working on higher ranking patterns, whether that's like second dan or third dan, is definitely not as fluent, or that I'm a little more unsure about it compared to like first dan, because we do have a lot of first dans, obviously. So the knowledge there is still building, because when I was that kind of rank, I was much younger, and I was just emulating most of the time, right? Just copying, right? So never learning all like the applications for the new techniques or that kind of stuff. But let's go into our last one, which is teaching with your legacy.
At some point, we're not going to be around, and so your contribution to Taekwondo, how we live, should be our legacy, right? So building a group of black belts, that's part of your legacy, right? Mm-hmm. That's more of a spiritual, or not really about certain techniques, right? Because that's your legacy could be the book, right? The things that you left behind that can inspire other people, that can teach other people. Videos can do that. Books can do that. How does the teaching all relates to the tools? You know, what I find is that the more I teach, the more I question about certain techniques. So I actually learn a little bit more being an instructor than just being a student. The student kind of just is more like following somebody, right? It's kind of like that when you're young, just physical, right? And you're just kind of following along. But when you instruct, you actually have to understand the techniques. You have to be able to explain it. Yeah, I think I personally myself learn more as an instructor than as a student.
No, I totally agree. I think that these podcasts as well have really opened up ideas to question, to think about. Same with going into the studio, asking, the students asking questions about techniques and stuff makes me think about them a little bit more as well.
Right. Is it high or low?
I gotta check again.
Would say, you have book? Look at it.
All right, well, don't forget to check out our Tool World Plus program. Thanks for jumping in today. Don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take one.